Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here today. I'm Deanne Castro, Creative Memories Advisor in Bakersfield, California, and I'm suffering from allergies, so excuse my voice again. I have something I'm so excited to show you today. Creative Memories has a special going on right now. It's a promo that if you spend $120, you will get a set of 42 idea cards for free. So let me show it to you. Hey, this is the set of cards. You get 52 cards, and there are four different types of ideas. One is colors and compositions, one is storytelling, tools and techniques, and then outside the box. Today, I want to show you just what number one is. Number one, cut one or multiple photos into unique pieces, reassemble them to create a mosaic effect. And when you take your phone and you um, scan this QR code, it comes to the Creative Memories blog, which is now called Pages. And this is by Sashio Omitsu. She actually also has her demonstration of this on her YouTube, and I will put a link to that in my comments section under here. But isn't this gorgeous? This is so pretty. So to get this, you guys are going to want to place an order with your advisor. This is good until the end of the month or until supplies run out. So you're going to want this. Look at all these ideas. Just tons, 52 different ideas to get your creative juices flowing. Okay. You also get a challenge accepted divider for your binder. And this is the page we're going to do today. Isn't it beautiful? Okay. Sashio's didn't have photos on it. She used just plain paper for photos. But to show you guys the true effect, I wanted you to see it actually with photos. Okay. And I'm going to, oops, hold on a second. I'm going to show you what not to do using these photos. Okay. I had the Seattle skyline up here in this photo. Okay, I'm going to show it to you. This was the full photo. And I was a little disappointed when I cut it, when I found out the photo was up too high when I cut the circle. So there's a little bit of a trick that you can do. You can actually, aside from the directions, if you cut a 1/2 inch off of here, this would have brought this down about a 1/2 inch and would have put it in the actual photo. So I'm going to try to show you that today. Same with the other side. This one was a sunset. And when I put the photo on here, I cut the sun off of it. And if I had moved it down just about a 1/2 inch, I would have had the sun on it. Now that would not have affected what's here on the bottom. Okay, so we're going to try that today. But I love this. I was in Bainbridge Island off of Seattle a few years ago, visiting my aunt and uncle with my mom. And that's how this came out. So let me show you how to make this. And if you guys like this, you're going to want those cards because those cards are going to show you how to do 51 other amazing ideas like this. Okay, that you can just get your creative juices flowing and you can just do the same thing or something similar or something completely different. So today I'm going to be using the Copper Canyon 2 paper pack. It is now back in stock on the website. There's stickers and there's embellishments that go with this. Okay, so I'm going to use the same background that Sashio used. This is, I think, my favorite piece of paper in that whole pack. And then I'm going to be using this paper. It's a dark blue. It's really pretty with a dark brown on the back. And I'm going to be using this light brown paper and this light blue on the back. And this one I'm going to actually be using both sides of. Then you're going to need your jumbo circle cutter pattern, or you can use the circle cutter if you've got that. And the red blade and the green blade that go with this. And then also black cardstock. I'm going to be using plain black cardstock to put my photos on because it's not going to show up except in some real small spaces. And the shimmer black cardstock or shimmer black paper to use for the other part of it. Okay, so move these out of the way. And the first thing you want to do is you're going to be cutting these two strips right here in the middle. Okay, so you need to cut 2 1/2-inch strips. Now you can use whatever color you want, use any collection you want. Just choose papers that have, different color variations to them so that they show up when you use them. So I'm going to cut 2 1/2-inch strips off of this. Okay, and definitely if you've got them, use scraps because you don't need much. That's the only piece of paper that we're going to be using off of that. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is put the photos on the black cardstock. Okay, I'm going to move these out of the way. And I'm going to arrange my photos. Now I've got them in order of how I'm going to want them on here because when I figured out how I want to do these, I want to take into account how much it's going to cut off for the circles on these. So this one is that sunset photo. So I'm going to put it on the bottom. So it's going to be cutting more of this lower section. So I'm going to have this photo in the middle. And this one, the circle is going to cut around this way. So I still have the Seattle Sea Dome on here. I think that's what it's called, the Seattle something. It's got a big old restaurant right up there. So you guys who know the actual title of it, you guys can let me know. So what you want to do is cut your photos down. Cut every photo down to 3.5 by 6, unless you want to cut an extra 1/2 inch off the bottom. So I want most of this on here, but I don't want to cut too much off it and have it too close to the center. So what I think I'm going to do, actually, I can just go ahead and cut a 1/2 inch off the side. And it'll put the focus of my photo right where I want it. Okay, now I really should be using my photo trimmer, but I didn't bring it down here with me. So I'm using my other trimmer, and that's not really what I should be using. But so because my uncle and my mom and my aunt are in this photo on this side, I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of this side. Okay, and it's going to go here. And so this one, since this is a photo of me, I don't usually put photos of me in these places, but I'm kind of in the middle. I'm going to cut 1/4 inch off of each side. Here again, these photos need to be 3.5 by 6. Okay, this one I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cut 1/4 inch off of each side to keep this memorial sign in the middle. Okay, this one, to bring the sunset in even further, I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of this one side. And this one, I'm also going to cut a 1/2 inch off of one side. And I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch off the bottom here, just to kind of see how that's going to work. Okay. So, because really what I want is I don't want much of this part of the memorial cut off on this side. So I'm going to bring it down a 1/2 an inch over here. And we'll see how that works, because I didn't do that on the other one. So now I'm going to adhere all the photos down. I'm only going to use some repositionable because I may have to move the photo a little bit, but I'm going to put the cardstock right in the center of the page here. Make sure this is correct. And this is going to be down a 1/2 an inch. Everything else is going to be you can use the repositionable in case you have to move the photos around. Okay, now actually, I'm going to take just a 1/4 of an inch off the bottom of this photo. Because again, I'm going to try to get this to the photo to fit. And it's not going to matter once I have the banner going across the bottom there, across the middle. Okay, now this one, okay, because the circle's going to come up this way, so this will be fine. This is going right along the edge of this cardstock and straight across the bottom. And this one is going to go up here. Okay. Now we need to take these pieces, and that might be too dark, but that's okay. We'll go with it because she said to use black, so that's what I'm doing here. And we want our photos in the center going down the middle here. So if I put these right here, because this is going to have them going right down the middle. That's not the middle. This is the middle. Move these over. Okay. Now I can use quite a bit of just regular adhesive on this photo because the only part that's going to get cut off of it is the bottom. And then this way, I don't have to go back and adhere things as much. And then same with this. Because when you're just using the repositionable, you're going to have to go back and you're going to have to adhere down the edges that get cut off. I want this to be right with that one. Okay, so see how there's excess in the middle here? That's not going to matter. What we're going to do is put a 1/2 inch piece across the bottom here or in the middle. And so it's going to cover up all this stuff that's in the middle here that we don't want to see. Okay, so now I'm going to put this down the center between the photos. And Sasha explains how to do this a little bit differently. So, but now I'm going to make sure there's the equal distance between the photos and this piece of paper going all the way down. So I'm just going to eyeball it. And I don't need to go all the way up to the top of this adhesive because the top of this, part of it's going to get cut off when we do the circle. Okay, so get this centered down the middle between the photos. Okay, now the part that looks really hard really is not that hard. We're going to take 6 pieces of the cardstock. And again, I'm using the shimmer. And we're going to cut 6 1/8 of an inch pieces. So on our photo trimmer, it's the blade cuts right here along this line. 1/8 of an inch is lined up with this other dotted line here on the right. Okay. So I already cut 4. So I'm just going to cut 2 more and I'm going to line the edge of the paper up on along that right hand dotted line. Okay, so there's 1, and I'm going to do 1 more to go with the other 4 that I already have. Okay, now I'm going to put repositionable adhesive on the back of all of these. I'm going to spread them out a little bit because when I did it before, they keep getting stuck to each other. Okay, let's see if those are out far enough. Okay, so there's 1. Oops. These are those little black lines. They're going to go across the photos on the edges. I keep moving because they're getting stuck to my fingers, but that's not as bad as it was. Okay. So now what you want to do is you're going to take one of these 1/8 of an inch pieces and you're going to put it in the corner of the right hand photo, the lower left corner, and you're going to take it all the way to the top of the other edge. Okay, and then trim it. Now the next piece is going to start in the same section, but it's going to go up to the 2-inch. And this just makes it, it doesn't have to go all the way up there because it's going to, the circle is going to cut that part off. Okay. So next piece is going to start at the same place and it's going to go to the 4-inch mark. So these are all just 2 inches apart. It looks like it's not really equal distance, but it really is. Okay, so you've got the corner up here, 2 inches, and then at the 4-inch mark. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to go from the top right down to the lower right, or top left of the right hand, lower right hand photo. Right here. You go here, down to here. Okay, right down to the corner. You don't really need to worry about cutting some of these off because again, the circle's going to cut it off. Okay, next piece. Okay, now they're all getting stuck together anyway. And stuck to my fingers. Okay. So now this one's going to go to the 10 mark. So it's going to start up here at the upper left and it's going to go down to the 10. So there again, it's a 2-inch gap between the bottom corner and the 10 inches. And this piece is going to go to the 8-inch line. So again, it's just 2 inches up from the last one. Okay. We're going to do that on the other side. Okay. So we're going to start with the left-hand photo and we're going to take it from the bottom up to the corner. Now I know that I cut part of the photo down, but it's all right because it's going to not show. Okay, this piece is going to go from, again, the left-hand photo, the right corner, up to the 10-inch line. And that's not going to make it all the way. So I'm going to put it down to the 8-inch. Okay. I'm going to take the next one and I'm going to put it to the 10-inch. So here again, these are all just 2 inches apart. Doesn't look like it, but they are. Okay. Okay, now this piece is going to go, the bottom left photo, we're going to go from, oops, wrong way. We're going to take the right-hand side and go all the way down to the corner. Okay, so just diagonal straight down. The next piece is going to go from this upper corner down to the 2-inch line. So it's 2 inches from the bottom to this line. And the last one is going to go from this corner to the 4-inch line. And that just completely took the sun out right there. Let's see if I can adjust that a little bit. I'm going to adjust it just so we can see the sun. And I'm sure it's going to be just fine when we cut the circle. Okay. See, it's still not hard. This is not hard. The hardest part now is we're going to turn this over. When I originally saw this, I thought we were going to have to cut all the photos into those pieces. And you don't. Just putting the lines on there makes it look like the photos are cut. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back on my mat and I'm going to make sure it's centered. And then I'm going to take the jumbo circle pattern and I'm going to center it on here. Now my pattern is marked. So I've got like the 12 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. I've got them marked. So I'm going to line those up at the 6-inch lines. I can't see. I don't have them exactly in the right spots. So, okay. So I'm going to take these marks and I'm going to line them up at the 6 inches. And I'm going to line them up at the 6 inches here. This is going to center this pattern on here for you. Okay. Have to eyeball it. If you want, you can grab a ruler Make sure that it's all centered. Okay, now I'm going to take the green blade. Now you have to realize you're cutting through cardstock, photos, and these little tabs. So if you have to go around twice to get everything cut through, that would be fine. And you're going to feel cutting through those little 8-inch pieces, eighth of an inch pieces that we cut. And if you're not sure you cut through them, you can always back up and do it again, or just make sure you go around twice with your blade. Don't let the pattern move. Hold the pattern down really tight, because you're also going to want to use the red blade. Okay, and I think that's cut all the way through. So now don't move the pattern. Put your red blade in and do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to do it a second time just to make sure everything's cut. All right, done with that. Now we're going to lift this up. We're going to still use this piece, okay? But we're going to take off all the photos that are on here and the paper. Okay. Now see this one? I did cut a little bit of that photo that I kind of wanted to save, but that's okay. This one, I got most of the sunset on. When I turn this over, I think I'm going to be a little happier with how I did my photos. Okay. Okay, now this one, I just have the bottom of it cut with the whole, that building. So that's also okay. And so is this. So I'm a lot happier with how I placed my photos on here than I was from the last time, even though it came out looking really nice. Okay. So now do the same thing with this ring. You're going to use this ring. So go ahead and take the photos off of it, the photo pieces. Okay, we are going to use those. So don't put them too far away. And ta-da! So I still have my aunt and uncle, my mom. I still have the larger portion of this. The sun is right here, and the tower is right here. So I'm much happier with the way this came out. So the next thing we want to do is take our base paper, the one that's going to show up all the way around here, and we're going to cut it at 11 3/4. So you can measure 11 3/4 if you want. I'm just gonna take 1/4 inch off 2 sides. So I have that side, turn it 90 degrees and cut it off the other side. Okay. So we're only taking 1/4 of an inch off. Now we're going to put this on the black cardstock. So we're going to put it on this piece right here. So we used all of the center of this paper, but we're not wasting the edges. So don't put adhesive on the very end because that piece is going to show a little bit of the black as we go around. So just put a tiny bit right in there. Okay. Just don't put the adhesive all the way to the edges. Now we're going to take this piece, this 11 3/4 of an inch piece, kind of decide where you want it. Actually, it's not going to matter. Center it on here. So you can just kind of eyeball it. Move this one over just a little. Okay, close enough. Okay, now I did have a little bit of adhesive showing through. So I'm going to tuck this under here. And same over here. Just going to tuck it under there. Okay, so there's your base. Now you're going to take this, your circle with your photos, and you're going to adhere it. Well, let's see, hold on. Don't adhere it down yet. Check the edges. Make sure that these pieces that you cut are adhered down. That's good. This one. Okay, now go ahead and you're going to adhere it to your base. And then just kind of eyeball it and get it centered on there. So let's make sure the paper is centered. And you can line up the black here across with the 6, and I think that will get you pretty close to being right on the money. Okay. Now you're going to take the ring that you cut and put some adhesive on it. And it's going to go back around the circle to help it stand out. Okay, so just start in one spot. It's going to want to stick to other places and put it exactly around the outside edges. Okay, and then keep working it around. Make sure it's on the outside of the photos. And there you have that. Now, the last part is you want to cut a 1-inch piece of black cardstock. I'm using the shimmer. And actually, I think, was that too wide? Did I cut that down? What was the size of this? Nope, I kept it at 1 inch. Okay, so this is going to be 1 inch by 12. Then you're going to take another piece that you like both sides of. So I like this side and I like this light blue side. I thought that was pretty. And you're going to cut a 12-inch piece at 3/4 of an inch. Okay, now you're going to take this piece and you're going to cut a 2-inch piece. So you're going to have a 3/4 by 2-inch piece. You're going to do that again. Okay, and the piece you have left over is 8 inches. And if you cut a 1/4 of an inch off, it'll make it 7 3/4. And that's the size you need because we're going to put a little bit of space in between the colors. Now, here's the black cardstock. What you want to do is decide which colors you like, because you're going to use one side in the middle and the other side on the ends. Okay, so it could go like this, or I can turn it around and do it this way. And I think I'm going to make it the blue side. So I'm going to the blue side down the middle. So take the 2-inch piece and center it on the 1-inch black. Make sure it's straight. Okay, take this one. Oops. I want the blue, so I need to put the adhesive on the brown. And move it over about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and then that will be good for that. Make sure it's centered. And put the other 2-inch piece on here. Center it on there, line it up against the edge. Okay. Then this piece is going to go down the center. So you'll line it up right down the middle. So see, with me cutting off little extra pieces of the photos, making it, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, it did not affect how it cut the edges, and it's covering up anything else that didn't match. See, like this didn't match very well, but this is getting covered up, so you're not going to see it. All right, I'm going to put this on there. Line it all the way up. And there's the center. Now, embellish however you would like. I'm thinking of putting some stickers down the middle. But on this one, I put stickers on the ends right here, and then just one sticker in the middle. Then I put a little sticker cluster down here on the bottom. and a saying up here at the top. So embellish it however you would like. I'm thinking maybe put the sticker down here and then put some other embellishments. What I really like was this sticker, this tree sticker, and maybe those would fit. So anyway, I will finish this up and we'll take a photo of it. But I really think this is cool because I have now photos done for my Bainbridge trip, and you get to see how the photos look like on the page. And you also got to see how that really amazing card and Sashio's super creative idea created this page for us. All right. So we will go back here. And hitting the buttons is not working and then it's working really fast. So I know that's happened to you guys before too, I'm sure. So hope you have an amazing week. I hope you have a super blessed day. And I will talk to you guys again next time. Thanks for joining me. Bye bye.